Listen, you know it's a big podcast when we have Kiana Martin leading it off. She was a sideline reporter for the San Francisco 49ers for how long?
5 incredible seasons.
Wow, that is wonderful.
And a Super Bowl appearance, too. Throwing that in there.
A super talent, by the way. There had to be a team that the 49ers played that you just wanted to, you hated, you just wanted to give them the old, Who was it?
Easy. That would be the Dallas Cowboys. I've grown up never a Cowboys fan. I've always disliked the Cowboys when I started working for the 49ers. Obviously, they have that history, a rivalry, a history rivalry, looking at like what happened on the Star, T.O. It's so much that goes back and forth with them, too. So, never liked them.
Well, we do have something in common. I don't like the Cowboys either. You know who else I'm not fond of? Dan Rather. You know Dan Rather? He's a famous guy. He used to host the evening news. Well, he did something to me many, many years ago, and I want retribution. That is coming up next. The whole story on People Talking Sports and Other Things.
All right.
Woo!
And every other thing. We're talking sports. Every other thing. We're talking sports. And every other thing. We're talking sports. Every other thing. We're talking sports. And every other thing.
Heck yeah, what an intro. Thank you, Kiana Martin from Madison Square Garden Networks for that beautiful open.
Wow.
It would have been great if I actually remembered the name of my own show. It actually took me 2 takes.
Gino, it's you guys wrote the song. You sang the song.
Vin Golda.
Are you serious?
Vinny 2 times Golda wrote the song, but I sang it.
You sang
You're
it.
talking sports.
You're supposed to know it.
And every other thing. Welcome.
It's unbelievable.
Podcast number 2. Gene Golda, John Manning, Vegas Wayno. He's in the wings. We're not going to get to him yet. Not just yet. He's in the wings. The audio is working.
We fixed the glitch. We don't know how we fixed the glitch. We did an audio test last night, and here I was expecting to have to go through, Vegas Wayno, whole computer, soup to nuts, and it just worked.
Very special thanks to everyone who has supported this podcast. Yes. This is our second one. The first one, nearly 300 views in a little less than 3 days.
Unbelievable.
And it means a lot to us. So the great comments, the kind words, it means a lot.
Yeah.
Give it a round of applause for all the folks who have supported us. Come on.
That's for everybody who supported us.
Thank you. Especially, working in Manhattan now for 30 plus years, it's a tough thing to do, but a lot of guys, who I see on a daily basis make my day better. So a special shout out to the guys at the Myers parking lot there at 31st. We're talking about Guy, Dominic, and David. You guys are the best. And how about the best coffee in Penn Station? Zaro's, Tevin, and the crew. Great job. Keep watching.
Way to go, boys. Way to go, boys.
And listen, now it's time.
Let's do it.
The platitudes, the thank yous. Can we bring in?
We got to bring them in. With
good audio, and I'm sure an incredible set behind him.
Yes.
Vegas Wayno! Vegas Wayno!
What did they put in that coffee?
Wayne, welcome. We're going to go there. We're ready, Wayne?
Yeah.
It's not coffee, it's tea.
Well, you make me hang in the wings here for so long, I can think of things to say.
Wow. All right. Well, good. I mean, hopefully you came out with some stuff by the time you were waiting. We need some material,
Well, wait. Before we even get started, these 2 guys last night did a little mic check. And I don't know if you knew this, Wayno, that you were being recorded by John Manning, but you were, and you guys did like a sort of mic check / podcast of your own.
Yeah.
So I listened to it all the way on my way to your house from Manhattan today, as this wires are dropping out of my ears already. And the entire time you guys were insulting me.
Well, here's the thing.
Thanks, Wayne.
Here's the thing. The funny thing about me and Vegas Wayno is when we decided to do this podcast, me and Vegas Wayno have not said one word to each other up until last night. You decided to do a podcast with a guy that you never spoke to before in your entire life. I mean, that's got to take some balls, I think, right? No?
Well, listen, Wayne, what'd you think of my pal here?
What do you think, Wayno?
Well, the whole thing is that the scary part is that I didn't know you, so the only thing I could base kind of you on would be Gino, and so that's scary in itself.
Yeah. So what did you think? What was your initial reaction?
Oh, I thought it was great, and I did know we were being recorded. I didn't know that you were going to share.
Yeah, well, it's not for everybody, but right now, anyways, but maybe a special edition.
Wayno, I'm going to get to that, because what I found hilarious listening to your podcast is I know John knows absolutely nothing about every sport except hockey, and he knows just a little bit about hockey too.
Yeah, just a little bit.
You, Wayne, probably know what, about 5% about hockey?
Enough to know that I really don't like it that much.
What about the Vegas Knights? I mean, you're a supporter.
The Vegas Knights, I went to see them play. And they were. It's amazing that you would think that here in the middle of the desert that people would be cheering for hockey. But
yeah.
Here they are.
Listen, that's special. And John knows, he knows a little bit about hockey. But now you're describing to him, the games, the UNLV games, all about college basketball, women's college basketball. And I'm thinking to myself, John has no clue what you're talking about.
Not even a little bit.
Well,
did you know that, Wayne?
But that's why you have me here.
Right, that's why I asked the questions, I'm here to ask stupid questions. You know what I mean? You guys are here to ask the sports questions.
Listen,
that's the sports. I'm the every other thing guy.
Yeah, correct. Wayne and I are the sports guys, and this is the other thing guy, John Manning.
That's right. That's me.
So Wayne is like I've always sort of thought of Wayne as like the Walter Cronkite or Dan Rather of Elizabeth media.
Oh, Dan Rather.
Yeah, I mean,
I like it I like the Dan Rather. I think maybe he's like the Dan Rather. I would say that.
Dan Rather. What? Didn't I talk about Dan Rather?
You did talk about that. You said you were going to break a story about Dan Rather.
I'm going to break a story early, Wayno. I don't know if I ever told you this one back when I was interning. Do you know this one about Dan Rather?
No.
Okay. Now, Wayne, prior to my internship with you guys at TKR, I did do an internship, a short stint at CBS Evening News. Okay. 19-year-old skinny tyke from Elizabeth, heading into the concrete jungle of Manhattan, getting ready for my TV career, ready to embark on it. I was so nervous, right? Big studio, big lights. Dan Rather. There he is, Dan Rather.
No,
there he is.
There he is. There's little Gino. Look at him.
Eye on America.
Look at him.
19 years old.
Snot hanging out of his nose. Look at him.
What a bad time.
Look at him.
I said.
Remnants of a good-looking fella there.
Says you. Says you.
Okay, that was.
Here we go. Ready?
I said that was the worst-looking tie I've ever seen. And it's crooked.
Wait, no, the picture's crooked, not the tie.
Oh, please. Come on.
Take it off.
Let's get Dan up there. Let's get this guy up there because apparently he did something. What did he do to you, Gino?
Well, here it is.
What did he do to you? Did he try to sleep with you too?
No, that was Kevin.
No.
Me and Kevin Boyle did sleep together. We're trying to get him on this podcast. We've reached out to him several times. We've reached out to his people. But, a guy like that probably has about 13 phones, so it's probably tough to get a hold of him. But we'll get him. We'll get him. But listen, back to Rather, okay?
Right,
so I'm a young intern, Wayne, okay? I'm sitting there at the intern desk. I'm ripping script. I'm answering phones. You're not doing much. You're really just let's be honest, a peon to these folks at CBS Evening News. First time I'm really ever in New York City and working in the big business. And one of the things they told me when I got there, what you didn't want to do was just piss off Dan Rather. You could get, I don't want to see him.
Nobody wants to see.
I don't want to see this guy anymore.
Especially after what he did to you. I don't know what it is.
I got to ask Wayne, are you a fan of Dan Rather?
Wayne,
Dan Rather, and you mentioned Dan Rather and Walter Cronkite. Obviously, these are guys who were back when news was really news, not the nonsense.
No, it never was news. It never was news.
That we have
Cronkite, Rather.
That real news.
No. I'm going to give
people actually look at that.
News, right?
Hey, Vegas Wayno, what's the temperature out in Vegas right now? Give it to us real quick before I get into this.
It's chilly. It's in the 50s.
Well, that's a disgrace.
In the 50s.
What are you doing out there?
You got to get out of here.
Come on.
It's going to be in the 30s tonight.
30s?
Yeah.
All right, listen.
All right,
Don't get sidetracked. We got to find out what Rather did. What did he do?
The ADD.
What did Rather do to you?
So I'm sitting at the desk answering phones, and I'm actually talking to somebody I know. I'll never forget this.
All right.
But I cannot think of who it was I was talking to on the phone. But I have my New York Post spread out in front of me. Right? The very little pleasures you get in a day when you're 19 years old, making $15, heading into New York City and working at CBS Evening News is reading my newspaper. And as I'm reading it, talking on the phone, here saunters over Mr. Rather himself.
Wow.
Oh, debonair as he is, Wayno, Vegas Wayno. He swoops my New York Post up from right in front of me.
As you were reading it?
As I was reading it, tucks it under his arm.
Wow.
And walks away like nothing happened. Put him back up.
Wow.
He's a scafflaw.
Wow.
Dan Rather, breaking news, is a scafflaw. Owes me 50 cents. That's all I'm asking.
No, but you know what it is. Gino.
Rather, I want 50 cents from you.
No way. Not with the inflation, bro. 50 cents. In what year? What year are you talking about?
92, Wayno.
50 cents in 92 has got to be at least $1 right now. It's got to be. I say he owes you $1.
Now listen, Vegas Wayno is like sort of my, you have the devil and the angel over your shoulder.
Yeah.
He's the angel. Do I deserve, Vegas Wayno, 50 cents from Dan Rather? Put up Dan Rather again.
Oh my God, really? Look at this guy. You got like the worst picture of him too. He's 975 years old in the picture.
Good. What do you think?
You want my opinion?
I do.
First of all, the New York Post isn't worth 50 cents.
Whoa!
Wow! Back then,
wow!
And I can see why he said he took it, because it's a newsroom, and you had that trash on your desk reading it.
Wow! So he's saying that he doesn't owe you anything because you were reading a tabloid, basically.
He should have fired you.
He said he should have fired you for having that paper.
You know what? I'm sick of looking at Rather's face. Get him off.
That's disgusting.
You know what? Vegas Wayno, I don't even know why I brought you on this podcast.
He should have fired you right there. That is not news. The New York Post? Come on, please.
So you're saying that Gino owes him 50 cents for reading the paper. That's what you're saying.
I think Gino should have paid Dan Rather to work and pick up the expertise that he wanted. But luckily,
Vegas
John, can you imagine this though? Can you imagine this? Gino being a newsman?
Wow! What? Oh my goodness!
Can you imagine?
Oh my God! I think we're gonna have this therapy session sooner than later. Really, honestly, there's a lot of Vegas Wayno.
It's coming with the heat. So now, wait. So I'm listening to this little podcast between the both of you, and you guys start to tell this story. Another incredible double G Wayne Avery Vegas Wayno story. Early days. Vegas Wayno's the king of TKR cable back in Elizabeth. We're talking about the 90s here. Doug Graber, the head coach of Rutgers. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I got you. We got people in the waiting room.
We got people in the waiting room.
I know. Wait a minute. That's a tease.
Yeah.
Folks.
Oh, we got guests today.
Don't get me off. Don't get me off. I'm telling the story about Graber.
Tell the story.
And then we're going to bring in a guest.
You got time to tell it.
Tease. After this story about Doug Graber, Rutgers football, we have our very first guest. And all of our guests in this show, Vegas Wayno and John Manning, brought to you by Pete Vests Murphy.
Petey Vest Murphy, ladies and gentlemen.
He is the sponsor of every guest that appears on this show today. Vegas Wayno, let me explain who Pete Vests Murphy is. He's a hockey dad, just like John and myself.
He is the king of the sweater vests.
Yes.
The king of the sweater vest. You got any sweater vests, Wayno? Out in Vegas when it's 50 degrees? Sometimes you might need that, because it doesn't have the arms, so you need a little, keep your core warm,
I used to have one.
You had one. Well, Pete Murphy would be ashamed that you had one. Wait.
Vegas Wayno is not a vests guy.
You're not a sweater vest guy?
No, he is 100% a pullover sweater type of.
Can I ask a question?
I can see that.
Can we get back to Doug Graber, please?
All right, go ahead. Go back to Doug Graber.
Get back to Doug Graber.
Whatever the hell that is.
All right, Vegas Wayno, don't yell at me. You're not the sports director over me anymore, Vegas Wayne Avery.
Well, okay. I haven't been since you stabbed me several years ago.
Oh, that's for another episode. That's for another episode.
I've been accused by Vegas Wayno of stealing his job. This is been an accusation of his towards me now for 3 decades. And one day we will discuss it here, and we will have a judge to decide who's right and who's wrong. But
yes,
let's get back to Doug Graber. Let's get back to Doug Graber.
Go ahead, go quick.
So here
Doug
it is.
Graber.
Okay, I'm a young kid. Kindly, Vegas Wayno brings me to Big East Media Day.
All right.
Okay. I've never done a big interview before, and he's going to let me interview the Rutgers football head coach, Doug Graber, who is a terrific fella. Wayne, I know you said it to John that he is, right? How great of a guy is
You said Doug he was Graber. A super nice guy. Now I remember who he is.
The best.
Yeah, the best. All right, so listen, what do I know? I'm a young kid. I believe you have to be a hard-hitting reporter right from the start. One of my heroes in the business is Anthony the Fooch Fucilli. You know the Fooch, Vegas Wayno.
You know the Fooch Wayno?
Yeah, one of the great reporters. I'm not kidding. One of the great reporters. I wanted to emulate him. So Vegas Wayno brings me to Big East Media Day, which is sort of a fluff thing. Right, you know what that means? It's like it's not the hard-hitting stuff. Right. But I get the chance to interview Doug Graber, courtesy of Vegas Wayno, kind to let the young kid, the young intern, interview Doug Graber. And my first question was, Coach, if you don't win this year, you think you'll be fired?
Wow. That was your first question.
First question.
Wow. Gino, that's some kind of first question. And what did he do? Did he just walk away from you?
The guy stopped the interview. Graber stops the interview, looks at Wayno.
All right.
And it's like, Wayno, who is this kid? Am I right?
Wow. Wayno's mortified after that one. Mortified.
Oh, yeah.
I love it.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. You didn't love it, but I love it. I love hearing the story, you know?
Unbelievable that someone could walk in.
It's not really unbelievable. I mean, you let Gino go up and interview that guy. You had to know something was going to happen. You know what I mean?
I thought I looked for the good. I looked for the good in people up until then.
Did you know at that point, Vegas Wayno, that I had everything in it to become the incredible podcast star that I've become?
Things going international, Wayno.
I don't think we, back then we knew that there would be a
podcasting thing. Yeah.
But you knew I'd be a tremendous success. 8 Emmy Awards, 29 years at MSG Networks. You knew that, right?
Well, 8 Emmys. I mean, it's pretty funny. You won 8 Emmys. I've won none. But
wow.
What does that mean, though? I don't understand what that means.
What does that mean?
Are you jealous? I thought you would be happy for your
just come out with it.
I am happy for you. I am happy, but I think looking at some of the the crazy things that you've done over the years, and they reward you, and they wonder why that we're dealing with there's John and I are here to keep you in line.
Yeah, there's no keeping them in line.
Listen, when it came to putting this podcast together, I needed John, I needed Vegas Wayno, and now I need my first guest.
Let's go. Who's the first guest?
It's a surprise.
Who is it? You got to tell me, dude. Tell me who it is. Let's go. Announce them.
Well, it's parts unknown, weight unknown, height unknown. Our first guest ever here on, let me look down, Talking Sports and Other Things podcast. I keep forgetting the name of the show because the gummy
get you a teleprompter.
Our very first guest, courtesy of Pete Vest Smurfy, and now the best guest gets a signed jersey from Pete's son, Timmy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's going to be worth.
Let's bring on, and Wayne, this is in honor of you, the masked megastar. Whoa!
Wow! Yes, megastar. Wow, I've seen you in videos. Never met you before, but welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Coming from you live in Norfolk, Virginia. I'm wrestling tomorrow night at the Scope Arena.
Look at that belt. Yeah, damn. Hold up that belt. Let's see that belt.
One of many. It's one of many.
Woo!
Mass Megastar, I know you are undercover right now.
Yes, I am.
First of all, this is a TV veteran. How many years in television, Mass Megastar?
33.
33 years in television. Okay. He moonlights as the Mass Megastar. Vegas Wayno, you're a huge wrestling fan. Do you have any questions about the career of the Mass Megastar?
Well,
in terms of wrestling or TV?
I always loved, and Gino, I have to compliment you.
Thank
Great
you.
introduction. from parts unknown, weight unknown, everything. I always loved that one.
Ate a lot of.
How does one find a mask like that? And do you have to dress in a phone booth so nobody knows who you are?
Well, I bought the mask 9 years ago when I started wrestling again. I was an amateur wrestler in high school, and I decided that I wanted to go pro.
And Mass Megastar, how many belts do you own?
About 15.
Wow, 15 belts.
The one you currently are strapping over your right shoulder. What is that one? It is a beautiful gold-studded belt, Mass Megastar.
WWE world titles.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh, listen,
you didn't tell me we were going to have a championship wrestler on.
This is a surprise.
He didn't say a word to me about this.
This is a surprise. And again, because of this is such top secret stuff. We had to have him incognito. He is going to provide to us every single podcast, the Masked Megastar, a veteran in TV, inside stories that only would be known by an insider in TV, 33 years, the Masked Megastar. National, here's a question. National TV, local TV?
National TV. National TV. I work for one of the major networks.
Wow.
NFL for them for close to 30 years now.
Wow, this is a veteran right there, Wayno.
Crap.
So, Gino,
toughest wrestler you ever had to face in a squared circle?
Toughest wrestler I ever have faced in a squared circle. Who was the little Japanese gentleman? Little Tokyo?
Wow.
Little Tokyo.
The little Japanese gentleman, huh? That was the strongest guy you ever had to face? A little Japanese gentleman?
Oh, wow. I wasn't expecting that. Not at all.
Wow. Really?
What was the
You ever get to a steel cage with Little Tokyo?
What was the biggest venue that you performed in?
The biggest venue I wrestled in?
Yeah.
Performed in.
Wow. That's interesting. Wrestled or performed? Let's go wrestle.
Gino and I probably were the best wrestling combination duo on TV. We did wrestling. People don't understand it. We've done it all. Gino and I.
We have. We did play-by-play.
You guys announced wrestling matches?
Vegas Wayno and I announced a wrestling match at the Dunn Center in Elizabeth. Right, Wayno? How great was it?
That was the best of all time, and Gino almost got me beat up.
Yeah.
I bet he did. Mass Megastar, you were supposed to be on that card, I remember, but you got cut off. Do you remember what happened that particular night?
I think that the opponent that I had bailed.
Oh, we didn't want to face off against you, dude. I wouldn't want to face off against you,
The Thomas E. Dunn Center?
Yes, the Thomas G. Dunn Center.
Who wrestled on that?
Oh, that was Dirty Dick Murdoch wrestled that night, Vegas Wayno. And the Big Boss Man was there that night.
Dirty Dick was there. That's exactly.
This has turned into a wrestling show.
What is your finishing move?
Yeah, great question, Vegas Wayno.
Swinging neck breaker.
The swinging neck breaker.
Yeah.
Who used to do? Somebody else used to do that. Swinging neck breaker.
Well, how about this? The Mass Megastar, he reveals his two true stories, and then he must go. For his identity is compromised every time he moves around. So, the swinging neck breaker, this is what we're here for. Swinging neck breaker to TV.
Yes, let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Two stories, Mass Megastar. Go.
True stories. One time in Jacksonville, Florida, we were doing a game there. It was a night game. Our announcer showed up.
Who were the announcers?
They're no longer with the network that I was with. They're at Monday Night Football now. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
So, the announcers showed up, and it was about 110 degrees in the booth. They had no air conditioning because it's a dump. And God's honest truth. And the announcer got on talkback, which I'm sure Wayno understands what that means. Like, you could communicate with the truck not being out over a live microphone.
Yep.
And said, "Hey guys, we need to get some fans up here now." I don't know if I can curse, but
yes, you can.
Yeah, you can.
He basically said, if you don't get any fans up here, I'm going to blow a fucking gasket. And he's starting to sweat through his suit. He was wearing a full suit because he's doing this. So they gave him about 25, 30 minutes, and they went to our production manager and asked her, hey, can we get some fans up to the booth? And she said, it's too late. This is at 4:30 in the afternoon. The game was at 8:30.
Whoa.
A half hour later, said announcer gets on talkback and says, look, you better get some fucking track shoes on. And lady goes, you better get some fucking track shoes on, get the goddamn fans up here right now.
Whoa.
Wow.
Can you figure out who that was?
That was a hint right there.
Yeah, that was a hint.
That was a hint.
This guy sounds like a ruffian.
Yeah, I wouldn't know.
This guy sounds like a... See, not everything is as it seems on TV, right, Vegas Wayno?
Absolutely.
So, needless to say, he never got his fans, and he was miserable the whole game.
Oh.
He was miserable for another 3 games after that because he was about it.
Prima donna.
Wow.
Prima donna. Does the Super Bowl, huh? I wonder who that could be. All right, thank you, great Mass Megastar. Great first story. Yes, the second story.
Second story. We were setting up one day on a Saturday. The set announcer doesn't show up for Saturday fact check. And I'm sure you were aware what that means, right?
Yes. That means checking the equipment beforehand, John.
Gotcha. Okay.
And they go through a intensive, we go through every piece of equipment to make sure it works for the game. He shows up, his telestrator's not working. He gets on headset and he starts chastising the producer and basically says, I don't know what the fuck you guys do on Saturdays, but this shit's all fucked up here.
Oh, a lot of foul language in your
there's a lot of nastiness that goes on in television. You're gonna learn a lot about television, John, and the people in it through this podcast.
Yeah.
Except for me, John, I never use those words.
No, not you, Wayno.
Vegas Wayno was a gentleman. Mass Megastar, I have to say this one thing. Thank you so much.
Thank you for inviting me.
I know you risk everything, but we appreciate you doing it, and we always wish you luck on the circuit. Tell us where you'll be traveling next, and who will you be wrestling against next after you leave this podcast.
I am going to be at the Scope in Norfolk tomorrow night. I am on the card. I'm going to be defending this belt.
Let's go.
Wow.
Against a cool wrestler. You all know him. His name was Tatanka.
How old is Tatanka right now? My God.
Tatanka's about 2 now. I think I can take him now.
My Lord.
All right. Listen, good luck to you, Mass Megastar. We'll see you next week with 2 more great and juicy and provocative
really great
TV
Great stuff.
Stories. And you might get the Pete Vest Smurfy jersey. You stand by. I'll be in touch with you soon. Thank you so much.
PD Vest.
Thank you so much, Mass Megastar. Incredible stuff, huh, Vegas Wayno?
Wow. Who knew it was going to be the Mass Megastar? I've seen him in your video. I've seen him in awful videos announcing the band, the beginning of concerts and stuff like that. But I never thought I was going to meet him. This is unbelievable.
Well, listen.
We're just getting started.
What'd you say, Vegas?
Wasn't he at your wedding?
I do not want to reveal anything about the Mass Megastar because you understand what I'm saying here, right, Vegas?
Yeah. I mean, here's a guy who has more belts than you have Emmys, so he's got to be big. He's got to be big.
Vegas Wayno really bringing the heat on this episode, and I gotta say, I kind of like it. I kind of like it.
I want to tell a story now. Vegas Wayno discussed us doing wrestling back in the 90s at the Dunn Center, and he mentioned how I almost got him beat up by a manager. Let me discuss that story. So, yes, I was the play-by-play on the wrestling. Wayne was the color guy, and, we had a great rapport. We played it up a little bit, and there was a manager, like one of these, low bit managers in the independent circuit, that was starting trouble with me. Could you believe that?
I could actually believe that. But did he start trouble with you, or did you start trouble with him?
He started with me, or Wayne probably started with him.
Let me ask you. I got a question though. Was this the first and only time you guys did this, or did you do it multiple times?
Go ahead, Wayne.
I think that was the only time. This was
so.
I mean, we did boxing and we did wrestling. We did everything.
So you guys got into some real trouble in the wrestling thing. They didn't ask you back.
No, they never came back. But I needed help. I needed help when the manager was coming at me.
Right.
Right.
What did Wayno do?
I go, Wayno, help me out, buddy.
Yeah.
Don't get me involved, Gino.
Wayno, really?
Hey, these guys hit you with chairs. I'm not ready for that.
Who's the manager? They're usually like little weasel guys. You come on.
Ralph.
We got more people in the waiting room.
Yeah, we do.
All right, listen.
All right, who are we getting to? We got
very special guest number 2, guy on the left. Yes. Are you ready?
Right, let's bring him in.
Wait. Introduction.
Go ahead, introduction.
Vegas Wayno is an Elizabeth media legend.
Icon, if you will.
An
icon.
A referee in town, a radio, a TV broadcaster. He even taught driver's ed at St. Pat's High School. Yes, I know that. Yeah.
Wow.
I never had a license.
Wow.
We won't get to that.
Taught driver's ed, no license. All
right.
That's gangster.
I'm bringing on who I believe is the greatest Elizabeth, New Jersey athlete in the history of the town.
Wow.
Can we bring him in?
Wow.
Al Hawkins, everybody, the Hawk.
Al Hawkins.
Is that him?
What's going on, guys? What's going on?
Oh, it is Al Hawkins. Let's get the Al Hawkins is in the house.
In the house, baby.
More applause.
Hey, Gene, I got an issue, man. You got married. I wasn't invited to the wedding.
Whoa. He comes out throwing daggers.
I love it. Al, this is perfect. This is beautiful. I love it.
Okay. First of all, Al needs a proper intro.
Go.
Wayno, would you like to do that since you were around when Al was tossing touchdown passes, throwing 95-mile-per-hour fastballs, and sinking 3-pointers for Elizabeth High School, winning all kinds of things? Do you want to give a little intro to?
I mean, wasn't that? I mean, when we were at Elizabeth High School during that time, that was the greatest. I don't think you could ever find a better era of sports from, I guess, 88 all the way to 2000, and great athletes everywhere. And this gentleman was one of the, if not the top one, because it was every sport.
Wow. So he starts as a 13-year-old freshman, as I just start working at TKR to start my career with Vegas Wayno, and Al is the first athlete that I kind of see face to face, right up close.
Got you.
And my goodness, Al, I still say you were the best. He was the quarterback. Did you win a state championship, Al, at football?
Nah, we got robbed a couple of times. My senior year was our best year. Well, my freshman year we should have won it. The only reason why we didn't win it because I was a freshman. My senior year we had the infamous taunting call in the end zone where the official had to be escorted out of Williams Field.
I remember that.
Wow.
And that really was the year that we should have. We really should. Nobody should have beat us that year.
Did you lose to? Oh, I'm sorry,
Hey,
John.
Al,
You had a question.
John Manning, nice to meet you, by the way.
Nice to meet you.
Did you see what Gino did there, though? Because this is what he does, right?
Oh boy!
You came on, asked a question, right? You came on, and had a question for him, right?
I caught it.
And what did he do? He started going, "How many titles did you win, bro? How many? Oh, you're the greatest thing that ever happened to Elizabeth."
What is he saying?
It's called the art of deflection.
Oh,
you answer the question.
Let's get back to the history here of Al Hawkins, okay? He was coached by the great Jerry Moore in football. And he had an opportunity as a senior, right? He was a highly touted senior. And this is a great story. Al, I'm going to tell first of all how you are responsible for the career of who?
Donovan McNabb.
There it is. I'm going to set it up.
Really?
Donovan McNabb, longtime quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles. But listen, once upon a time,
there
he is, Donovan McNabb. We all know him. If it wasn't for this man that we're talking to now, this man that you see on the screen right now, Donovan McNabb,
wouldn't exist.
He wouldn't exist. And Philadelphia Eagle fans, who knows what would have happened?
Who knows?
They would have been upset. But get him off. Let's get Al Hawkins on, because Al Hawkins is here right now. Al Hawkins was such a great quarterback, and his number one wide receiver was who? Vegas Wayno.
You caught me.
This is wrong, Wayne.
Vegas was wow. Give him a buzz. Give him a buzz. Give him a buzz.
I don't know what we got. Oh, fail. That's fail.
Fail. Vegas
Failure.
Wayno. Give him another one.
Vegas Wayno, look. Vegas Wayno, look. Listen. Vegas
Avery,
Wayno,
come
listen up.
on.
All right. So Al Hawkins' main squeeze receiver was a fellow by the name of Quentin Spotwood, right, Al?
Hey, Quentin.
Correct.
Okay. So Quentin Spotwood is getting recruited by Al.
Syracuse University.
That's right. And then you could pick up the story. Paul Pasqualoni goes after you, correct? Go.
This is true.
And what happens?
What happened is, you know, if you remember, Syracuse ran the triple option. So one of my questions was, if I come to Syracuse, how would that change? Because, you know, you guys run a triple option. I'm a passer. And Pasqualoni words were, if you come to Syracuse, Donovan McNabb will be a running back.
Wow.
Wow. You could have made Donovan McNabb a running back. How do you think he would have fared as a running back?
I think he would have been good at that time.
Yeah.
You know, Donovan was, you know, a lot of what you see today with a lot of these running quarterbacks, Donovan was doing that.
Yeah.
You know, people remember him when he got to the NFL as more of a pocket guy, but Donovan was serious with them feet.
See, you hear Al talk. Al knows football, man. He was such a smart quarterback. And actually, Al, am I wrong? But there's a quarterback currently in the NFL that you've had spend some time with. You helped him out with his mechanics and everything, and that's PJ Walker, correct?
Correct. That's my man. That's why I call him little nephew. I'm proud of him. You know, he's doing the most with his opportunity, and you know, we talk often. And as I said earlier, I'm extremely proud of him.
Excellent. And so, John, he did not go the football route, correct, Al?
Yeah, I didn't. I should have, but you know, I didn't.
Okay. No, listen, neither here nor there. You went the baseball route and you got drafted by the Milwaukee Brewers, correct?
Correct.
And then what happens after that, Al? To fill in John and the crowd out there who might not have ever known, like, what happened to Al Hawkins? I know you and I talked a few times over the last, 20 years or whatever, but you're always, to me, a great kid, just a great kid. And
I appreciate that.
No, I really mean that. And I've always liked talking to you. And, I was just, people always ask, well, what's up with Al Hawkins? Well, tell us what happened. You get drafted by the Milwaukee Brewers, and then what happens?
Well, honestly, I should have been a third baseman. But when you throw in the ball 95 miles an hour at such a young age, you kind of don't have that option.
Right.
But when I got drafted by Milwaukee, I was pretty much prepared as a pitcher. Coming from Elizabeth, having Coach Corn, I would put him up against anybody in any high school across the country. There was things that we get to camp, I already knew since 10th grade that some of the guys were just learning. And going through, making my way through the minor league system, getting pitcher of the year, back-to-back years, and then going into big league camp and feeling as if I should have made the major league roster earlier. A lot of it was with age. Like at that time, you didn't see too many guys coming up at 19, 20. You had to kind of get your innings in. And yeah, I call it salt and pepper. You had to get your seasoning in before they would even give you a chance to get called up. So that was frustrating for me because coming from Elizabeth, it was all about performance. Being able to start varsity in 3 different sports at the age of 13, that came from, and to be honest with you, I didn't expect to start in any of them. It just unfolded that way after going through camp, after going through basketball camp or going through tryouts with baseball. It just unfolded that way. And to be in the position that I was in, to have the best ERA in big league camp, to be told that, all right, you got to go back down to AAA or AA, that never made sense to me. So eventually I got frustrated with that. So I already knew in the back of my mind I was going back to school to play football. Because I got frustrated with that. And then I was told, my last year when I had a bone spur, that Milwaukee wanted to offer me a split contract, a 2-year split contract, at I think it was like 1.5 if I made the big club or something like that. And by this time my mind was already going towards football. So I contacted Coach Moore, told him what I wanted to do. We reached out to several schools that was already interested in me coming out of high school. By this time, I had my top 4 schools coming out was in this order. It was Florida State, Notre Dame, Maryland, Clemson.
Those are some big names, John. I know you don't know.
I don't know anything about this.
Al, what you have to know is the guy to my right, John Manning, right? My partner in crime here. Vegas Wayno.
Yeah.
Wave.
Wayno.
Wayno, there you go. You're paying attention this time. But John Manning knows nothing about sports.
Wow.
Nothing. I just spoke Vegas Wayno for the first time yesterday.
John, that's a bad look, man.
Yeah, well, you know what? That's why the show is called Talking Sports and Every Other Thing, right? We were talking about this. I'm the every other thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm
going to ask you the questions that are not about sports. Like how come Gene didn't invite you to his wedding? Like how come Gene didn't invite you to his wedding? That's the question I want to know about.
You know what he changed? I believe. Right? I believe that.
Inquiring minds want to know.
That's what I see. That's why I'm here, Al.
I know the answer. I got the answer.
Go ahead.
That's the answer, Mr. Avery.
I represented you, Al. I was.
There you go. There you go. That's a great answer.
All right, Vegas Wayno.
And I don't. And that's a funny little clip you got right there. Wayno. I get what you were doing there. Wayno.
Yeah.
You know what he was doing there.
Yeah,
I know what you were doing there. He's making a funny there.
Got it.
Yeah,
he's trying to make it funny.
All right. Well, listen, that's what I do.
Listen,
I hold you accountable, Gino. You know what I mean?
I just seriously wanted to bring Al as my second guest, and again, all guests today represented by Pete Vests Murphy.
You wear sweater vests, Al?
No chance.
Then I don't know.
Pete,
if you can
and not only sweater vests and like lumberjack button downs.
I'll do sweater vests.
You know what I mean? Like that. Like you're going to like a pumpkin patch with your family or something every day of the week. That's Pete Murphy. You know what I mean?
So, I wanted John because you're an Elizabeth guy. Wayno's an Elizabeth guy. We got a guy, John Manning, right over the bridge from Staten Island. That's right. I thought he belonged.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Close enough.
All right, Wayno.
Yes.
Before we let Al Hawkins go, and we're going to bring on another Elizabeth legend after that, we got, I think, coming up after you, Al, Phil Colicchio.
Uh-oh.
Wow.
What do you have to say about Phil Colicchio? If you had to sum up Phil Colicchio, one of the great high school basketball coaches, I'm going to say in America, how would you sum up Phil Colicchio?
Intense.
Let's go. I like it. I like him already.
Intense. Highly intelligent. May not come across that way at times, but
I love it. I love the honesty.
Intense.
Is he listening?
Very, very intelligent mind.
Hey, Gino?
Yes, Wayno?
Can I interject for 1 second?
Please.
Okay, and because I want to ask Al a serious question.
Go.
If I may.
Absolutely.
I mean, you're in charge here, Gino.
No. The elders go first.
Yeah, you're Vegas Wayno, dude. You do what you want. As far as
elders go first.
Yep.
Tell us what you're doing now, Al, because I think it's very important.
Oh, yeah, it's a great question.
The work that you're doing now with the kids.
On the athletic front or professional front?
On the developing, I mean, all we hear today about is that a lot of people are losing interest in baseball and everything because the kids aren't learning how to play. You're kind of doing some stuff to help get that along. Yeah,
well, right now I'm doing a lot of training and coaching with kids at the Hit Factory in Elizabeth. Also, I am, I've been doing coaching for a while. I've been told so many times that I need to be in Division I or be a head coach or be in the pros, and we all know how that is. And I agree to a certain extent. One thing about me is I don't like to hold on to knowledge. I like to pass it on and give kids the opportunities that I had.
Nice.
It's just a little bit difficult in terms of getting your foot in the door. So hopefully something will open up and I'll get that opportunity, because I love teaching and especially from a football standpoint as the quarterback, I think it's the most undercoached position in all of sports. Because until you sit behind the line and you have 11 bullets flying at you, it's really hard to kind of duplicate that and be able to understand why some quarterbacks do what they do. It's one position that I truly believe, because I believe that you can coach any position if you didn't play it. I think you can learn how to do that. But I think the quarterback position is one position where I don't really think you can do that. I think you had to have been behind that line, behind enemy line, so to speak, in order to understand why. You got to understand the why. And one thing I look for when I'm coaching is I need to understand the why. If I can understand the why, then I can fix it.
I'll tell you this, John. Watching him play for 4 years, starting as a 13-year-old, I mean, his acumen out there was off the charts. I'm talking about Al Hawkins here. You can tell by, as he speaks, his knowledge is so right there in front of you.
Were you a big kid at 13? Because, I mean, I'm thinking you're playing, football, you're playing baseball. You had to be a pretty big kid at 13 because there could be a big size disparity, especially we talk of football, right?
I didn't think I was big, but, by talking to everybody else, I mean, I was 185, 6'2", 6'1",
okay.
6'2".
All right. So, you had some good size to you then, because like I said,
back then was different. Your linemen today at 230. Back then when I played, you couldn't touch our O-line at 230.
Yeah.
We had guys that our O-line was 280 or better. People don't understand.
Wow.
My freshman team might have been the most underrated Elizabeth team in history. We had 10 Division I guys off of that team.
Wow. Incredible. Yeah, I mean, Elizabeth's so rich in history and sports, and Al Hawkins such a big part of that. I mean, thank you so much, Al.
Yeah, Al, thanks
for coming on. I'm going to have you on. And anybody watching this who needs a really smart coach at the higher level, I'm talking about Al Hawkins here, folks. You heard him talk. He was something special when he was in high school. And before you go, I have one last question, Al. Do you believe in ghosts?
No chance.
All right. Well, that's it.
What do you mean? How about you, Vegas Wayno? Do you believe in ghosts?
Do I believe in ghosts?
Yeah.
Hey, Jane, I don't believe in being half pregnant, man. You either pregnant or you're not, baby.
Bam.
Wow. All right. On that note, folks.
Wow.
Al Hawkins, everybody. Wave to the crowd, Al. Thank you so much. We'll see you again, buddy.
I appreciate you guys,
we'll be in touch real soon. Al Hawkins, former Elizabeth High School great. Got drafted by the Milwaukee Brewers. He's still hanging around the game. I love it. Wow. Surprise, huh? Am I shocking you guys here tonight?
This is amazing. We got a lot of guests. And you saved the best for last. We got John. Yeah.
Is it amazing that, a guy who spent like 3 hours in the tunnel and in traffic coming over to do the show actually has put together a magnificent masterpiece.
It's unbelievable. Wow, Wayno. Look at Wayno with the compliment now. All of a
I
sudden,
don't even know what to say. I mean, that's the first compliment I've ever gotten.
That's the nicest thing Vegas Wayno ever said to you.
Oh, my God. I have tears in my eyes. Hold on. Hold on, I got to look at this. I got sage. I got to spray or something.
What the hell is that?
Applause. Wayne complimented me.
God,
Before we bring
spray. It smells like a freaking candle factory in here or something.
Listen, before we bring in our last and best guest. I'm sorry about the sage smell, folks. I just had a smell. It's sage.
I think I might be allergic to sage.
I was so shocked.
I might be allergic to sage.
I started spraying sage.
Like mace. What is that?
All right, listen to me. Couple things before I get to our next guest. Number one, I went to see my spiritual guru, Lisa, yesterday.
Oh, Lisa.
Vegas Wayno. And guess what she told me? Guess what she told me?
Uh-oh.
What'd she say?
This is unbelievable. First of all, she wants to come on the show.
Let's go. Lisa, get on the show.
This is the woman who told me just yesterday, this podcast is going to be something special.
Oh, we already know that, though, Gino. This is going to be the biggest podcast in the history of podcasts.
Her and her wonderful husband, Jules, watched our first podcast. Jules Jardine.
Jules, let me tell you something. I've never seen a man skate like Jules Jardine. Never.
That is my spiritual guru, Lisa's husband, Jules Jardine.
Unbelievable.
He's an incredible hockey coach.
It's unbelievable.
Vegas Wayno. Jules Jardine was in the movie Youngblood.
Really?
Do you remember the movie?
I remember the movie, but I don't remember him in the movie. Who was he in the movie?
Do you remember the movie, Vegas Wayno? Hockey movie? He was in the scene in the bar with Patrick Swayze and Keanu Reeves when they were talking about Miss McGill.
All right.
And he was one of the hockey players toasting with Swayze and Keanu Reeves, and that was Keanu Reeves' first movie. That's Jules Jardine, the husband of my spiritual guru,
right?
Lisa Jardine, who what she did is she just cleaned out.
What did she do to you, bro? What do you mean she cleaned you out?
Cleaned my organs out of negative ancestral
Lisa,
spirits.
What are you doing?
All right, now she'll be on next week or the week after. But Vegas Wayno, this is the thing. After our very first podcast, I knew people wouldn't like me, Wayno, but I did not know it would be my own family.
Well,
wow. So listen, let's bring on the guest first, because I think I got a good segue to this, because I have a question for Coach before he comes on.
Oh, all right. Yeah, all right. This will tell.
So I have a good segue.
Okay, no, but
we'll talk about this.
We're gonna talk about my family.
We're gonna talk about this with
our next guest,
with the coach. Yeah.
All right, come on, bring it on. This is the best guest in the history of what's the name of this podcast? Talking Sports and Every Other Thing podcast.
Let's bring him on. We're gonna bring him in right now.
Courtesy of Breckenridge. Gummies, courtesy of Breckenridge Hemp Corporation.
Yes.
In Manhattan, one store.
Wow.
They're called muffins. All right, bring them on.
All right, let's
Phil Colicchio, everybody.
Coach Colicchio.
There he is.
Wow.
Hey, Coach.
What's up, guys?
Coach.
Wayno, how you doing?
How you doing, Coach?
Doing good.
Thanks for coming on.
A little tidbit. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. A little tidbit, though, before we go further.
Go.
The first interview I've ever had in my life on TV. You know who that is, Gene?
Who?
Vegas Wayno.
Wayno!
Man, he really is a legend.
Tell Phil, what do you remember from that interview, and what was the game?
I was a JV coach at Elizabeth, and you know what? I will dig that tape up because I have it still.
Wow.
I was a JV.
He's got the tape.
And I guess TKR had a 7-minute time limit to fill, so they asked me to come on. And I got to tell you, I was thrilled. It was like Marv Albert interviewing me.
Whoa.
I'm not kidding you. I must have.
No, listen. John doesn't believe this, Phil, that Vegas Wayno is a legend.
Oh, yeah.
The first time me and Vegas Wayno spoke was yesterday. It was yesterday.
We used to call him up on his radio station and ask questions about ourselves.
Oh, that's amazing.
What do you think?
That's amazing.
Did
he know it was you, or did you pretend to be other people?
No, we always pretended. Him and Joe Godfrey.
That's awesome.
Oh, this is another great tribute to Elizabeth. We have Phil Colicchio. And, I say so many things in jest, but this I do not say in jest. Phil Colicchio, one of the most successful and great high school coaches in the history of New Jersey.
You know what? Let me pull something. I'm going to pull something
basketball.
up on
Let's pull it up.
Colicchio if we can. So you can see a little something there,
look at this. We're ready on this show.
So it says here, he ranked in the top 100 coaches of all time in New Jersey.
Yep.
Elizabeth High School varsity basketball coach, 6-time NJSIAA basketball state champion, head coach for Michael Jordan National All-Star Game, and New Jersey coach.
You talk about a
Hall
legend.
of Fame.
You talk about a legend. We only bring legends.
Wow.
What a show put together by Double G today. And you said you had a question.
Yeah, I got a question. So before we even get into any basketball or anything like that, I have a question for you. This is important now, okay? Let's say I want to give you a hypothetical, okay? Let's say that you have, and this is good for Wayno and Coach Colicchio. We talked about this a little bit yesterday, Wayno. If you have a family function, it doesn't matter what it is, right? Birthday, whatever, right? Whatever it is, right? And you hire a band or you ask a band to play, and that band is called Awful. Right? That's the name of the band. Awful. Would you then walk out in disgust when that band was no good? Would you do that?
No, I would have hired.
Like, would you be surprised? The band's called Awful. It's called Awful.
I would have had a DJ, waiting in the wings.
Yeah, it's like if you would have hired a band, like this is the worst band on the planet, right? I hired this band, the worst band on the planet, and then I was mad that they were bad.
But you heard what he said. He'd have a DJ as a backup. Yeah. My family, what it is, Phil. Do you know that I'm in the band Awful?
No.
Okay. Since 2001, I've been in a band called Awful. Okay.
Who's the
name fits the description, correct, Vegas Wayno?
It doesn't even come close to the description of how bad it was.
All right. So I I can't go into too many details because I've been forbidden by a certain family member. I can't even say
mention his name
to talk about the incident. But Awful played at a certain function of a family. Half of a certain family left. And because I told that story, I have now been ostracized.
But they know full well the band was awful. It's not like they lied to you. You know what I mean? Not like you said, oh, yeah, I got this band. We're unbelievable. Right? You said, I got this band. We're awful. And they're like, yeah, bring it on.
Listen,
play.
The story.
A funeral?
Well, Phil, I'll play anything. We'll play anything.
You play the accordion? You're Polish. I know that.
No. Oh, hey. And I bowl.
That's it.
So, Phil, before we get into the hay there with basketball, on the previous show, I told a story that I think you heard for the first time that Wayno brought up, that I slept with a certain not a coach from Elizabeth, but a fellow that coached in Elizabeth, Kevin Boyle. Were you shocked by that story?
I was utterly shocked. Then I had to watch the footage of it, and I got even more depressed after listening to the footage of it. And
now I'm going to ask Phil this question. Phil, you invite me as a reporter out on the road with you for Linden, Elizabeth, wherever you're coaching, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you get me my own separate room?
Well, you definitely want to sleep with me. I always have my own separate room wherever we go.
Well, that's smart.
There we go.
There you go.
See?
You may have slept with one of my assistants, but not in the same bed.
Wow. All right.
Okay. But see, you would have set it up where I would not have to sleep with the head coach.
Right. And you certainly wouldn't wear your tidy whiteys and sleep with them.
Exactly.
Right? Like, so you wouldn't even, you're saying you wouldn't, there's no way you'd even have a separate room. So we're not even on the same planet. We're talking about getting in your tidy whiteys and, potentially maybe when Gene fell asleep spooning them.
I'm sure if he traveled with Kevin now, he'd have a first-class hotel room.
Wow.
No, but Phil, I got to ask you this question. What are the percentages? Because I blacked out 2 of the nights. I don't recall.
Oh, my goodness.
That Kevin might have spooned me.
Oh, he did text me back, and he didn't talk about spooning.
What did he say?
He texted me back. I sent him a text, and I sent him that whole clip. But he didn't mention anything about spooning.
Hey, did he ever get back to you?
Yeah, he did. He texted me back. We went back and forth a little bit before. And I guess it wasn't as heartwarming for him as it was for you.
Wow.
So he rejected me?
Yeah.
I want, Phil, all I'm looking for from Boyle, and all right, you got to make this happen, is I want him to put us up 3 nights in Florida to make up for the 3 nights I had to sleep with him in Myrtle Beach. We're going to do the podcast from Monteverde Academy with Kevin. That's all I want, or he's got to come on here. I'm going to challenge him until the day I die. But I want to say this. Phil Colicchio, you talk about a legend in New Jersey. Phil, you've got 2 other brothers, all very successful, correct?
Yes.
You have Mikey, if I'm not mistaken, is a finance guy, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he's retired now. But he was a finance CPA.
Yep. His brother Tom Colicchio is the Top Chef judge on Bravo TV.
Yes.
Give him applause.
Applause.
Impressive. But I bet both are so jealous of all the accomplishments that you have done on the basketball court. Am I sort of correct with that?
No, I think the one successful thing about my brothers and I is we all found something that we love to do, and we do it, and we're happy.
Nice.
In what we
That's
do.
awesome.
And when you could say that in life, you're pretty successful, no matter how much money you make. Don't forget, I wouldn't mind having my brother's money. That's for sure.
No, it's not about money, Phil. Phil, seriously, it's not. No. It's not about money. Go ahead,
We
Phil.
were very lucky at a young age to find out. Tommy never went to cooking school. He started cooking at 16, and whoever thought, we thought he'd be the fry cook at Spiritos one day if he was lucky. And the success he's had, and the success that my brother Michael had bringing a local Elizabeth company, Hayward Pool, and he brought them public right before he retired. So again, we found something we all love to do, and we're all each other's biggest cheerleaders. My brother Tommy tells the story. He was at a food festival in Miami when we upset St. Pat's when they were number 1 in the country, and he's yelling out to everybody, "Hey, my brother just beat number 1 in the country." None of these foodies even had any idea what he was talking about. But hey, there we go. I am the best looking one of the 3, though. That's for sure.
Oh, look at this. We actually got a picture of the 3 of you, and you're in the middle. I don't know if you could see that. Can you see that?
Yeah, that's when we were Unico Men of the Year.
Wow.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Fantastic. And that's the crux, honestly, Phil. When I asked you to come on and listen, we could talk about your accolades, till the sun goes up and down and up and down. But that's what I find fascinating about you is how successful all 3 of you are. And I think that's an Elizabeth way. Don't you think that there's something in Elizabeth, something in the water that just brings something out of you? And I think I'd just like to know that Colicchio success. Where does it come from?
Well, it comes from growing up on South Broad Street and grinding and being tough and having older brothers and having a father who was tough on us, have a mother who was, all into education. And, my father was a prison guard, and, we didn't have it easy. Again, we grew up on South Broad Street in an apartment building, and, we had a gas station next door, rooming house to the left, and Broad and Grove Bar. Wayno.
I have a question, if I may, Gino.
Always, Wayne.
Go, Wayno.
My show.
Let me ask you this,
Wayno.
Phil.
Don't forget that.
Let me ask you this, Phil. Yeah, and you came from it. We grew up in Elizabeth, great city. Gino, told us some stories about his growing up. Let me ask you this question. If you were sitting on your front porch and someone was breaking into your neighbor's house, would you? What would you do?
I definitely would have taken the knapsack. That's for sure.
Yeah. Would you watch it and go, "Oh, I can't do it. That guy has a knapsack."
No, what do you call it? A knapsack,
Hey.
right?
A knapsack.
Got a couple of Eddie's in that knapsack.
Why? I don't
believe this.
Phil knows the exact area where I live. I lived on Red Cliff Street in the Berg. All the houses are so close. And we had an entire family inside the house watching. We were playing sports outside on the street. Phil, that's what you did in Elizabeth. You played your sports out in the street, right? And
good. When you were good, you got to play on the courts.
Oh, wow. I think that was a rip on.
See that?
That is another damn rip.
I love it. I love it. Oh my God. This might be the best episode yet. I love it. Everybody that came on had something to say. Every single person had something to say. I love it.
It could be their last appearance on this show.
No way. You guys are coming back.
And also Phil Colicchio, sponsored by Pete Vest
Murphy.
And you want to know why? Now I have to explain why Phil and Vegas Wayno and John, why all guests are sponsored by Pete Vests Murphy. Pete Vests Murphy is one of these guys. Let me just describe him to you, Phil. You may know the type. He lives in Manasquan on the water, feet up all the time in the backyard.
Yep.
Most likely has an Adirondack chair.
Yeah, he definitely has an Adirondack chair. He has loafers for sure. His loafers,
vests,
the no socks loafer all the time.
And he's a bit of a, and I love him. You know this. We love France. We love everybody. We love the whole Murphy family. But he's one of these guys that he's always got to say something. He told me I need guests.
Yeah.
Jeez, Sherlock.
Right. This is our first episode, Petey. You know what I mean? Maybe if you kick us some of that sponsor money and you give out more than sweater vests, we can get a couple guests on, Well,
he is donating his son's hockey jersey to the best guest. And right now, Phil Colicchio is leading the way. Phil, this guy, Vests Murphy, is something else, man. So that's why
I do
every guest. Go ahead.
I do wear sweater vests.
Oh, he does!
Go!
He's getting it.
You gotta get it. You gotta give it to him.
Phil Colicchio is
getting the sweater vest.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Gino, don't you remember when we used to do the New Balance? They used to sponsor us. I used to always wear New Balance sweater vest.
Oh boy! Wait! Phil, those are good times, weren't they?
They were great times. The best times I ever had in coaching.
Listen, a quick little history lesson here. Working at MSG for 29 years, I spent almost 20 years with Mike Quick, who knows that Phil's coming on this show, by the way.
Right.
Also a huge fan of the first podcast. But Mike Quick and I worked together for nearly 20 years at MSG, did predominantly high school sports. We knew Phil very well. And he also wanted me to bring up the cooking show that you guys did together. I hear it's a good time. You guys were feeding each other.
Whoa.
What was going on?
We got together at Rob Pavanelli's house, who I believe is doing sportscasting now. He got out of coaching.
Wow.
Coaching in Long Island.
I hope he's better at sportscasting.
Well, we went to his house on his own kitchen, and we had a cooking show. My wife was there. Marty Luca was my assistant, was there, and they had 3 coaches from New York and 3 coaches from New Jersey with the panel, and I won. And to this day,
what did you cook?
I cooked some lobster dish. I cooked clams and macaroni, and I cooked I cooked 3 things. But Mike Quick said the lemon that I put in the macaronis would put him over the top. And to this day, Pavanelli, every time he sees me, fucking lemon zest.
The lemon zest put you over the top.
So, you talk about cooking, and obviously, your brother's top chef and everything. But are you yourself a pretty good whipper-upper of food?
Yeah, we all cook. All of our brothers cook. I always say I probably cook more than my brother Tommy, because I cook for my 3 kids. Tommy goes to a restaurant, shakes hands, waves, and then goes out. Tommy's not in the kitchen like he did. When he was young, coming up, he would work 20-hour days. Now he's lucky if he works 20 minutes, and he's fishing for 24 hours a day.
Well, he's a superstar now. You know that, Phil.
So he's beyond superstar.
He's like home run king over here.
I'll tell you a quick story. I went to North Carolina, was playing Kentucky in the grade 8 over in North. And I was waiting for my brother. He had the ticket, and he was late like usual. So we're coming up the elevator, and hi chef. As we're walking down towards our seats, so we're like in the front row, everybody's heads are turning, and they're not watching the game. This is Kentucky and North Carolina in the grade 8, and everybody's pointing at him and waving to him, and they screaming his name. I said, "This is crazy."
It's crazy, right? And I'm going to be honest with you, Wayne. Have you ever watched Top Chef?
Yes, I have, and as a matter of fact, I actually watched the show that Phil was talking about. When they had the cooking contest, you were probably like shining your Emmys or something, and not watching.
Yeah, you know that.
8 of them.
Watching that.
Phil, 8 Emmys. How many titles do you have, Phil? I have 8 Emmys.
I got. Well, I don't like that thing that John read before is a little wrong. I have 8 now.
Oh, good for you.
It says 2022 too on the bottom, so I'm surprised that
John,
that's
give yourself a buck.
Wow, how about this? This for me.
Bad job, John. All right, Wayno, go ahead. Ask Phil.
What am I going to ask him?
I wanted to ask him something.
Wait, let's talk about our days when you were the referee and I was at St. Mary's.
Yes.
I was going to say to you, who was your favorite referee beside me?
Well, it definitely wasn't Larry Lewandowski.
Hey, we can't go there, Phil.
I kind of like Pat Regan.
Pat was always an interesting referee. I remember doing a game with Pat. Now I'll tell a story. Doing a game with Pat, and we're running up and down, and all of a sudden the whistle blows. He blew the whistle. Everybody stops in the gym. We all look at Pat. Pat looks at me and says, "What do you got, Wayne?" You blew the whistle, Pat. What do you got?
Wait, is it true you had a St. Hedwig's bias?
Wow.
Wow, that's what I.
Wow, Wayno, listen, spill the beans, Wayno, and be honest.
Is that, did you have a St. Hedwig's bias because your brother was the coach?
I had no bias because I got paid the same thing no matter who won.
Wayno, look in the camera. I want to look in your eyes when you say that.
I get paid the same no matter who won, and it was just, let's get the game over with.
I don't know. He looks like he's telling the truth.
All right, I'm going to ask Phil. Phil, did Wayne Avery have a bias towards St. Hedwig's, my alma mater, by the way, because his brother, Lloyd, was the head coach?
Well, I will say this. My 8th grade year, St. Hedwig's had a superstar player in Chris Winnick, great basketball player. Best to come out of, younger guys come out of Elizabeth. The only time we beat them my 8th grade year, we had to play them out of the city of Elizabeth. We played them up in New Providence, and Bill Simo and Kurt Wolf were the referees.
Wow. That's the only time they won when you weren't there, Wayne. Wow. This is a scandal. This is scandalous right here.
Yeah. Breaking news again.
I don't know.
Vegas Wayno.
Fixing games. Fixing grammar school games.
Fixing grammar school games.
Yeah. Wayne never gave it. That was good.
Wow. This is unbelievable.
All right. Hey, Phil, real quick. Well, not real quick. We have time to elaborate. So, give me your top 3 athletes you've ever coached.
Top 3 athletes I've ever coached. Well, I will correct one thing. Al Hawkins didn't play varsity basketball as a freshman. Al Hawkins played JV basketball for me as a freshman.
Oh, I forgot about that, Phil.
He didn't play varsity basketball. I didn't,
Well, listen. I mean, come on. Give the guy a break.
Well, you know what? I'm sorry. We got to give Al. Sorry, buddy. I know I just met you and everything like that, but you're getting a fail.
All right. So Al Hawkins did not play varsity basketball as a freshman. He played JV for Coach Colicchio. Go ahead.
We did bring him up, though, for the state tournament. So technically, he did play on the varsity team that year. But the top athletes I've ever coached. The most athletic kid I've ever coached was a kid by the name of Gregory Parker at Linden High School. He was part of my first state championship there in 2001. Gregory scored, I believe it was 5 touchdowns. Elizabeth came in to play Linden, and Elizabeth was unscored upon. And I think Gregory scored 5 touchdowns in that one game. Definitely by far the best athlete I've ever coached. He's about 45 years old now, can still dunk a basketball. He's amazing and a great kid.
And did he do anything past that? Did he go on to
Gregory put at a junior college by Syracuse. He was a tremendous defensive back. He had 11 interceptions his freshman year in college, and he ended up coming home, getting married, and becoming a father. He has about 6 kids now. He's an amazing father. He works for the city of Linden, and I'm really proud of him.
Wow.
See, that's great. Coaches sometimes, more than just a coach. So go ahead, Phil.
My best basketball player I ever had. He was the best athlete I ever had. The best basketball player as a head coach that I ever had. You can get me in trouble here. I got a few of them. You got Jamal Tate. You got Desmond Wade. You got Otis Livingston. I had some great players at Linden.
Well, you got to commit here on this show. You got to commit. There's no.
Who's the number one?
Number 1 was Jamal Tate. Jamal Tate.
Oh, we're going to be so mad.
Yeah.
Out of the gym.
Breaking news.
Played at Penn State. Went to the Sweet 16 with Penn State. Hit a big shot against North Carolina in the tournament. Didn't finish his career in basketball. Had some little trials and tribulations, but is doing wonderful now. Another guy, he's raising his kids. He works for Penn State, actually. Has 4 beautiful kids, and he's happy, and that's all that matters.
Those are the stories you like to hear, right,
Very
Wayno?
nice. Wayno.
Now, one of the ones out of Elizabeth, if there's a kid that I said best athlete, now I said best player. If there's a kid that you'd want to coach every year, like you can just mold him and say, this is the kid I want to coach every year, I got to go with Alcides Catano.
Wow.
For my high school teammate, Derek McGee, but I didn't coach Derek. But Alcides Catano, 6'6", played in the NFL, went hard on everything. Could score inside, could score outside. Wayne will know. Wayne, we used to do a lot of our games back then. he was very, very gifted. I don't think he gets his just due in Elizabeth Athletics laurels of where he belongs. You know, the Rodney Carters and those people. I think Al's right up there with all of them. I really do.
Well, here's a question for both Vegas Wayno and Phil. We're going to let you go after this one. It's best Elizabeth athlete that you've seen come out of Elizabeth, New Jersey.
I'm going to be 3-part.
Go.
The best athlete I've ever seen in Elizabeth was Rodney Carter. Okay. The biggest winner I've ever seen in Elizabeth was my high school teammate, Anthony Candolino. I think Anthony could
Bird, right?
Yes. Anthony could have been a star quarterback. Anthony played in the minor leagues out of high school, hurt his arm, and then went and played basketball at Marquette, which is, you know, for a 6'1", not very fast guy, was kind of amazing and played well at Marquette. But Anthony was just a winner. He was going to do whatever he needed to do from the time we were little kids. Wayne can attest to that too. I mean, he refereed all his games. Even though I think St. Anthony's may have beat St. Helens once in a while with Wayne on it.
Even with me refereeing?
Even with you, he was that
Wayno just making calls out of nowhere.
What was that? Wayno, you know, Vegas Wayno is now known as Vegas Wayno the Fixer.
Right, he's the fixer. Man, Wayno.
You belong out in Vegas.
Man, really, Wayno? Seriously.
Fixing
no wonder you went to Vegas.
That's why I came behind.
Breaking news. All right.
Best athlete, the best winner. Now I'm going to go with I'm losing my train of thought here. Best winner was
Gene Golda does that to you, by the way.
The most dominant athlete that I've ever seen in Union County, me personally, was Carlos Diaz, was a catcher for St. Mary's.
Oh, I remember him.
Utterly
the league, didn't he?
Played in the big leagues for about 3 weeks. He was a St. Helens guy.
Yeah, love him.
Carlos was a 6'5", 6'6" catcher. Absolutely amazing. He just got inducted into the Union County Hall of Fame last year. But he was really, really special. And I always say that, you know, and I'm a basketball coach and I coach football, but I always thought Carlos was the most dominant player that I saw in high school.
So now, did something happen to him? You said he played in the big leagues for not too long. Something happened to him, or is that just how hard it is?
He stuck in the minor leagues for about 10 years in AAA. He sat behind, I think it was Mickey Sasser, may have been the catcher for the Brewers, who was really good. Whoever he sat behind was a really good catcher. And I believe he went back and got a law degree. He went to Oklahoma State. We watched him one game at Oklahoma State, hit a grand slam, a 3-run homer, and I believe a single shot all in the same game, if I'm not. It's
crazy to me, like when you're asked like the best athlete that you've seen, you know, come out of Union County, and you say this guy, and then you're like, he played just a little bit, you know, he just didn't get the opportunity or whatever it is. Like, these guys are so great at what they do, and they still, like, just goes to show you, like, somebody who's been into any professional sport, right, with any kind of longevity, like how ridiculously hard it is.
Okay,
right?
to all. Before this is the last word, I swear. and Phil, you're going to support this. To all the crazy parents out there of athletes, it's minuscule,
right,
for you to make. It's minuscule.
Yeah, because even if you're unbelievable, you have to be in the right place. They have to need you at the time. You have to have.
Can't say it enough. And Phil, tell me, what do you think? Last word. What do you think of parents these days?
Well, if I had to do this all over again, I'd coach at an orphanage.
I don't think there it is. You gotta leave on that note. Thank you so much, a champion, Phil Colicchio, for coming on the show. He gets the Pete Vests Murphy Sponsorship Award. He will get the jersey sent to him of Timmy Murphy, signed by Timmy Murphy. Phil Colicchio, thank you so much, buddy.
That's our first game. Oh, good seeing you. John,
have a great night.
Thanks, Coach Colicchio. Nice to meet you.
Same here. Bye.
Wow, Gino. This was like a star-studded podcast, man. It's unbelievable.
Wait, I want to hear.
Vegas Wayno's mic works. That's the first thing, right? His mic works. He's got a freaking set in the background. Look at them coat hangers. Unbelievable.
Oh, Vegas Wayno, the coat hangers look great.
Thank you.
They look unbelievable, dude. You really, you put some serious work into the background, Wayno.
Let me tell you something. Here you guys are hanging out somewhere In parts unknown.
Parts unknown.
Parts unknown. I'm here struggling along as a retiree.
Struggling. You said you played Keno and then you bet the horses. That's what you told me you did today.
Well, I got to do something.
All right, but I'm just saying, you're living the life out there in Vegas, being the fixer. And we're out here. Gino's in traffic for 7 hours.
Yeah. I think he like.
You think he looks for traffic?
I think he records that. And he's like,
he's got B-roll and just traffic in his phone that he can send out.
I got to ask you, Vegas Wayno, what'd you think of the guest list today?
Oh, unbelievable! You are amazing. Amazing.
Well, listen, it's amazing. It's amazing the response that we got. It was very nice of those guys to come on. They didn't have to come on. It was our first episode ever. They come on, and they give us some sports content. We were talking a lot of other things when your mic wasn't working.
Well, each week it's going to change. Vegas Wayno.
Yeah.
We don't know who's
what's
coming
going to
on.
happen. Lisa's coming on.
Lisa,
the spiritual
my
guru.
spiritual guru's coming on.
This has been kind of like how I feel knowing you all my life. You just never know what's going to happen.
You never know.
It's scary sometimes, but you just have to deal with it.
I told both of you to believe in me. I said, this is tough to do, right? I got a full-time job. You got a full-time job, Wayne.
And then, you know what? And then Wayno's got Keno.
Wayne's got Keno.
Wayno's got his Keno and his coat hangers.
His coat hangers. He's got horse races.
I'm 2,200 miles away. 2,200 miles away.
What are you trying to say?
What does that mean?
That means this is hard to do. Being with you two clowns.
Wait a minute. A couple announcements before we sign off.
Yeah.
Number one, this is a first. I don't think this has ever been done, but we're reaching out to anyone out there who would like this trio to do play-by-play of their dinner.
Yes, we're going to narrate dinners.
We're going to narrate a dinner. Anyone wants a dinner narrated, we'll come to your house, do the podcast, and narrate your dinner.
That's bucket list stuff, right? A lot of people, on their bucket list, they have, they want to be so successful that they actually have a crew narrate their dinner.
Yes, and that would be Double G, John Manning, and Vegas Wayno. But here's the catch. Vegas Wayno, you're probably saying to yourself, how am I going to get where? No. The key is you have to fly us out.
Yeah.
You have to put us up for 2 nights.
Yep.
And
separate rooms.
Separate rooms.
Yes.
Unless Kevin Boyle's there.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? Maybe we'll bring Kevin Boyle out and surprise Gino.
You know what? Unless he comes on the show, we're just going to keep calling him out. I believe he's fooling me.
Well, listen, here's the thing, right?
That means I'm that much closer to a multimillionaire NBA player.
You know what, Gino? Listen, I love you, right? But there's 2 sides to every story.
What are you saying?
Right? So what I'm saying is Kevin Boyle needs to come on here and tell his side of the story. Maybe it didn't go down that way, Gino. You're saying it went down that way, but I haven't heard it from Kevin Boyle. What? Maybe he has another way of looking at it.
I want an explanation, Boyle. It's been a long time.
Maybe Boyle comes down here and says, you were in your tighty whities the way he remembers it. Maybe that's what he says. I don't know. We won't know until he comes here and faces his accuser, really.
All right. So Vegas Wayno.
Yes.
We're offering out our services to narrate a dinner for anyone who wants it out there. Any one of our audience members who puts us up in a hotel, flies us out, provides us food, transportation. We'll come out and narrate dinner. And let's give an idea of how it would be. Yeah. Go ahead. Start drinking.
Yeah, go ahead.
Now, Wayne, you could join in at any time, too. Here's John Manning. Oh, he really enjoys that cup. What do you think he's got in there, Wayne? Wayne, what do you think he's got in that mug?
I think he's got something that probably is top shelf.
Really? Do you think? Wait. Are you saying that John Manning is drinking alcohol?
Top shelf.
He's thinking about. He's picking up with his hand now.
I would not expect anything less.
But he also has a Pittsburgh Penguins mug, which would tell you what, Wayno?
That would tell me somebody just gave it to him and he didn't. I don't know anyone that would have a Pittsburgh Penguin.
Well, you do now.
See, that's how it would go for an entire dinner.
It'd be unbelievable.
Right? That'd
be unbelievable. Really, I mean, who's narrating dinners? Nobody's doing that.
We will narrate your dinner.
And listen, honestly, it doesn't even have to be dinner.
Watch this. What would you do?
Yeah. Like, oh, there's Gino. He's picking up his Three Stooges mug, slowly sipping his beverage. Listen to the slow, soothing slurps of Gino. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I had 2 announcements. I forgot. I had one was that we're going to
narrate the dinner. But listen, we shouldn't really pigeonhole ourselves into dinner. We'll narrate your day.
We'll narrate your day.
We'll just go around and we'll call it all day. You're doing laundry.
If you had to narrate Vegas Wayno's day, what would it be like?
Here comes Vegas Wayno. Wayno wakes up. He hangs 2 strategically placed clothes hangers. Not so much on the wall where it can be seen by the camera.
Vegas Wayno didn't sign on for this, right, Vegas Wayno?
Then he leaves the house, goes, plays Keno, gets his butt kicked. And then he bets the ponies. And it's snowing in Canada. Right, Wayno? Snowing in Canada.
It's snowing up there at Woodbine.
Snowing.
Horses are running through the snowflakes.
See?
All right. Listen, I think we got to wrap things up here, folks.
That's it. Let's wrap it up. That's a wrap.
I don't want to go.
Don't forget, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Our handles down below there. We're at Sports and Every Other Thing on YouTube right now. And soon enough, we'll be on all the other podcasting outlets. So check us out. Follow us.
Thank you so much.
Subscribe. We love you guys. Talking sports.
Vegas Wayno.
And every other thing.
You made it, buddy.
We're talking sports and every other thing. We're talking sports, every other thing. We're talking sports, and every other thing. We're talking sports, every other thing. We're talking sports, every other thing. We're talking sports, and every other thing. We're talking sports, and every other thing.